Okay, so the Battlefront 3 hype is really starting to get absolutely insane. Now, if you guys have been out of the loop recently, let me catch you up to speed. Battlefront 2 has been seeing a resurgence unlike anything we've seen since its cancellation in 2020. The game's player counts continue to rise, servers are full, the game is trending online, and people calling for a Battlefront 3 have never been more vocal than they are right now. And the entire Star Wars community has actually banded together for once for a positive common cause, and it's actually been really wholesome to see. Now, in my last video, I went over the fact that Battlefront 2 is back, and I also touched on what this movement could mean for future hopes for more Battlefront games. That was 2 days ago now, and by the way, thank you guys so much for your support on the video. It's pretty crazy that I cannot upload for like 6 months, come back, and you guys just show overwhelming support, so thank you. Now, in that video, like I said, I was talking about Battlefront 2 being back, but since then, things have actually continued to get even bigger, and it's beyond the point now where EA and Lucasfilm can, just ignore it. Some pretty crazy stuff has happened, stuff that really surprised me. An actor from the Andor series has even joined in on the movement, which is just insane. So in this video, we're going to dive deep into what is going on with Battlefront 2 and the Battlefront 3 situation, because it is genuinely getting insane. Alright, so it's no mystery that Battlefront 2 was insanely popular, and the curse of the elusive Battlefront 3 has been in people's minds for almost 20 years at this point. For those of you who don't know, people have been in this fight for Battlefront 3 since they were 6 years old. The original Battlefront 2 had a sequel in the works for years and was cancelled before it crossed the finish line and was never officially released. Then flash forward 15 years or so and we found ourselves in a very similar situation once again, except this time the game never made it into the development cycle. So with 2 different generations of Battlefront games, Battlefront 3 has never happened, which given the context of both situations is just absolutely almost unforgivable. Well, right now seems to be just about the best shot for a Battlefront 3 to get the green light that we've had in over a decade. At the time of recording, Battlefront 2 had a peak of 176,000 players, which for a game that hasn't had an update for over 5 years and has had a very low dwindling player base because of those lack of updates, is just borderline insane. The game is also on the verge of breaking player records on Steam as we speak, and one of the key players behind starting this whole movement with Battlefront 2, Bombastic, has actually been trying to push to break this record. I actually spoke to him earlier today, and he is basically saying, yeah, let's push, let's break this record, and let's do it on this Saturday. So if you have Battlefront 2, boot the game up this weekend, because if this record breaks, there is no way that it can be ignored. So if you have the game, boot it up this weekend. Let's do it. Let's break the record. If this actually manages to happen, it's going to create more discussion online. It's going to release more articles. More people are going to talk about it, and more pressure is going to be put on someone to do something with either Battlefront 2 or to get EA or Lucasfilm Games in talks to greenlight a sequel that they rejected 5 years ago. So this Saturday, get on the Battlefront so we can break the record. I will see you guys there. Now, since my last video, things, like I said, have gotten even crazier with this whole situation. The actor who played Wilmon in the Andor TV show has even joined in on the movement, posting that he wants a Battlefront 3 ASAP, even flexing the number of hours that he has in Battlefront 2. Like, this guy is a Battlefront OG. He's a baller. And he has heard what's been going on, and he has decided to join in, which you absolutely love to see. He's not the only one who has joined in though. Several developers who used to work on Battlefront 2 that left DICE after its cancellation have also joined in on the movement and are making some noise. A former DICE developer that worked on Battlefront 2 has actually come up with a realistic roadmap to navigate what could be done going forward with this whole situation and what this whole movement could actually lead toward. And I've got to say, this is probably the most realistic outcome if something does actually come of this movement. He believes that remastering Battlefront 2 for 2027 or 2028 to be a good course of action, which would actually line up with the 10-year anniversary of the game. In this time frame, they can rebuild the team, refine the engine, grow the community, Granted, I don't really think the community needs to be grown anymore. I think this movement is kind of proof of that. But anyway, they can then launch Battlefront 3 with the momentum and feedback of the remaster behind it, which would be a 5 to 6 year plan, but one that is actually realistic and could very well be successful. So that's coming from someone who knows how this industry works. They worked in it. They literally worked on Battlefront 2. Now, this very same developer also said that he's been talking with a bunch of other former developers and they want to get the band back together. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these developers actually left DICE because EA refused to greenlight a Battlefront 3, including the game's lead designer, Dennis Brandval, who straight up said he left DICE because they wouldn't let him make Battlefront 3, which is actually based as hell. Now, we do know, thanks to former developers coming and speaking out, that there was actually a lot of content still planned for Battlefront 2. This included Ahsoka Tano as a playable hero, Asajj Ventress as a playable hero, and Mustafar as a new planet and a bunch of maps. Like, there was some seriously cool stuff in the pipeline that we never got to see that would have been so great to see in a Battlefront game. Now, let's be honest, the likelihood of EA and DICE picking up where they left off with Battlefront 2 is extremely low, if not borderline impossible at this point. But here's the good news. The Star Wars license is no longer tied to EA, which means it doesn't have to be DICE that does Battlefront 3 or whatever Battlefront reboot they could end up doing. Therefore, the hope for Battlefront doesn't solely rely on EA, which I think is a good thing. As much as I would like to see DICE get those developers back who worked on Battlefront 2, I don't think it's likely that EA are going to jump back into it. Reason I say that is they shit-canned this idea 5 years ago, and I feel like out of pure business ego, they would reject the idea for that reason alone. But the good thing is the Star Wars license has opened up. Anyone realistically can make a Battlefront game now. Would that be a big task for any developer or publisher to take on? Absolutely, but it's one that could prove to be insanely lucrative if done right. Keep in mind, we're not just asking for a Battlefront 3 because we've been waiting for 5 years since Battlefront 2 got cancelled. This goes all the way back to the mid-2000s. People have been waiting for a Battlefront 3 for about 20 years now. It's getting a little crazy. Imagine a full-scale AAA Battlefront game with regular updates that dropped content alongside the releases of the movies and the shows, cross-marketing both at the same time. Like, it's just a recipe for ongoing success for the game and ongoing pocket filling for whoever makes it. It's a win for Star Wars, it's a win for whoever makes the game, and it's a win for players. I feel like you'd have to be some kind of psychopath to be against this idea and formula. Like, it just seems so obvious. Now, as for who I would pick for a Battlefront 3 or Battlefront reboot, I honestly don't know. In an ideal world, I would like to see DICE do it because they've had 2 swings at Battlefront already. One of them eventually ended up being an absolute banger, so you would like to see them perfect where they went wrong with Battlefront 2, and we'd probably have the ultimate Battlefront game on our hands. But there are simply too many options out there for another Battlefront game when it comes to developers and who's going to make it. I would be willing to bet several developers and publishers would be frothing to get their hands on an IP like this. It is a big responsibility and it is going to cost a lot of money, but the results would be more than worth it if they pulled it off. So guys, the Battlefront 3 hopes are well and truly alive. Battlefront 2 is still absolutely thriving, word of mouth is spreading, a lot of noise is being made, and there are rumors circling that EA are actually hearing about this. So very interesting times I think are ahead for Battlefront fans. After 5 years of nothing, with no hope, it seems like this is the best shot we're going to get to try to force the hands of the powers that be. We've got to keep making as much noise as possible in the comments, on social media, keep the trend going, and remember to jump on Battlefront 2 this weekend to really hammer the point home. Let's break the player records for Battlefront 2 this weekend and give them something that they can never ignore. I'm going to keep hammering this point home. I'm probably going to make more videos on it. I'm going to keep playing my part in it just like every other YouTuber is. So subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on X, as I've actually been very active over there recently, and I think you guys will like it. Of course, be sure to like this video, spam those Battlefront 3 comments below, and I'll talk to you guys next time.